type
Nice.
bullets, flat shank, powder coated. I haven't shot these in a while. I was digging around in here the other day doing some I don't have any primers kind of work
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
bench, and
yeah.
I came up with I had 40 pounds of cans of bullets that I've cast way back in the who knows when, and I haven't shot them in like years.
Oh,
And so I just melted all of those down and re-ingotized them. And anyway, I ran across these too. I cast these sometime last year, and it's a good bullet. It shoots really well. Um, I've got a good load for it, so I'm going to shoot some of these tomorrow when I go to the range.
that's awesome. All right, we're live, and we
All right.
have we have 8 on, and we'll be getting more. Man, look at the comments. The comments are rolling in. Well, Happy New Year, everybody! January 2nd. You guys are gonna this is gonna blow you away. My wife is so proud of me. I haven't bought a gun this year.
Yeah, slacker.
Slacker. But so I went over to the store, and I went to the store. I was going to get a few items, and we've been needing a TV forever. Our big TV went out, and my big TV that I have out here has been in the front room, but it's a little TV for that. So I went in and I was looking at the TVs at Walmart. They had a Vizio,
I'm losing
70-inch.
audio again. Hi, boy.
Are you? Yeah, you're starting to kind of jerk. That's okay. Hang in there. You don't have to leave. Anyway, I go to Walmart and they got this Vizio TV, 70-inch screen for $478. I bought it, get it home, and the screen's bad. It's like, so I take it all the way back to Walmart. We brought the other one back, and it works. So Miss Highboy has her TV. So I haven't bought any guns, but she certainly bought quite the TV on the second day of the year. Anyway, all right, man. Travis Seward, thank you, buddy. All right, Walter, can you read the names? Do you see everybody on there?
Yeah, yeah. Let me read off who we've got. Here we got.
I want everyone I want everyone to type what is the next component you would like to find in your local gun shop. Say that one, and Walter will call your name off.
I know what everyone's gonna say. All right. So we got me. Let's see what you guys are gonna write. I got a little bit of a lag here. I'm reading comments on my phone. I can't see them on here or on the main unit there. So, okay, type it out, you guys. What are you looking for? I'm looking for primers. Yeah, Katie's Gun Shop primers. We also got Power Hunter, Russell. Hey, Russell. Reloader 762, Michael Schwarm, John Hatton, 5280 Reloader is wanting some 4831. Thomas, is it Tiak or Teak? I'm going to say Tiak. Small and large primers, JH586 is here. Primers, Power Hunter primers, Info Brothers wants primers. Nitro Barut wants primers. Slick Reloading, small pistol primers. Travis Ewart is just laughing. Bradley Swayze, small rifle primers. Reloader 762, does bullet mold count? Heck yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Mrs.
I was going to
Highboy,
say that's what he would say.
yeah. Mrs. Highboy says primers. Curtis Long, primers and bullets. Russell, 8x57 cases. Randall Carr, 5.7 ammo. No, not really. It's primers. Nitro, small pistol primers. Travis, Varget. I still got like 5 pounds of Varget sitting here, and I can't shoot it. I got no rifle range to go to. Everything's closed other than my indoor club range.
Wow.
Let's see. Thomas Alfaro, primers, shell cases, reloading presses, and equipment. He needs everything, in other words.
Yeah.
Teddy's Gun Shop is saying, hey, Everglades Ammo in Florida has bullets. Yeah, they've been a pretty good source. Chris Field is here and wants primers. Long Live 3 is here. Michael Schwarm, powder and reading competition shell holders.
Yeah, yeah.
Mark Brown, clays, Hodgson clays. Yeah, we can't find clays around here. The gun club had it for a while,
Mhm.
and then we can't get any more out there. We had a lot of 700X out there though.
Yeah. The 700X is actually a really good score. Really good.
Tim Edwards is wanting powder. Philip Sutphin, small pistol primers, sure. Robert Tisch says, I've got plenty, but I'm out of Federal 215s. Yeah, and everybody's looking for the same types of things for the most part, especially the newer guys that were just getting into reloading and hadn't had an opportunity yet to build up any kind of stock before things went south on us.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get this kicked off. What we're going to talk about in the live stream is I think the perfect terminology for not being able to find components and equipment and guns. Actually, you can find more guns right now than you can equipment and components. But I would say decimated describes it.
Yeah, yeah. The market, the retail market for our reloading components is, it's gone. There just isn't. They're just not there for us. And when they do show up, the guys who've got the internet bots tell them instantly when something shows up,
Yeah.
they buy everything out, and there's nothing left for us little normal guys. So we do find them though. We've been talking about this, the last
Yeah.
6 months. If you spend time and get on the phone and crawl around through the gun shops in your town and the next town to the left and the one to the right, and you're there frequently and make friends with those folks, you might come up with some here and there. I found a few here, but
So I have two stories, and they're like, wow. They're wow stories. I bought some primers. I scored, right?
I remember
So
that.
well, this was just recently.
Oh, you got more.
Well, I bought them, and I began opening my sleeves, and they were only half full. Right now in gun shops, employees are having a hard time getting them. So when they come in, they're robbing half the packs.
Oh man, that's awful.
Stay away from gun broker. Guys are starting to tell me that they're getting their primers in. They're paying $200-300 for a brick of primers, and they're opening the sleeves up, and there's like 10 or 15 from every single sleeve removed. And they have no recourse. And that guy in the other end could care less because he says, well, maybe CCI did it.
Right, yeah.
If you can't verify where you're buying them from, I've been reloading a long time. There's times you'll open a primer pack, you'll see 2 or 3. That's an issue that happens at the factory. But when I'm sitting there opening them, and there's like as many as 15 out of every single one of those,
Yeah.
someone in a gun shop is loading their pockets up because there's no primers to be had, and they can't buy them, so they're sitting there robbing off of everybody. That's the first thing. Be very careful of where you're buying your primers, okay? Now, here's the second thing. It's a very, very sad story. The last time that Walter and me were talking, I told you guys that every day I go to 3 gun shops a day. Every day, every day, every day. Sometimes 4 and 5. On Saturdays, Miss Highboy and me, we go. And what we always try and have ready is when I walk into a local gun shop, man, we can hit the phone and get friends there buying stuff with us. If they've got primers and I can have a couple people each buy a pack, hey, I'm scoring, right? So here's the deal. I've been doing that for months and months and months. And so last week, I didn't do that one day, and so I was going by the back of Sportsman's Warehouse. I saw a guy I knew. I said, "Hey, buddy, what's up?" He says, "Hey, man, I've been selling primers all day." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I go going into Sportsman's. I go in and they're sold out. And the guy says, "We had 1,500 bricks today."
Oh, man.
1,500 bricks hit the shelves. He said they were gone. If I'd have just been there, my wife was 3 minutes from me. We could have each got 1,000 bricks each, and that would have got me 4 or 5 months worth of shooting. I mean, if I wanted, I could do a brick a month. But in these times as slow as I'm
Right.
shooting, that would get me through half of a year. I could ration those out. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is whatever you're doing, don't slack off. Don't take one trip for granted. If you're going by a local gun shop, man, make sure you stop and walk in and look. And if you go by that local gun shop 2 times in a day, you stop in every chance you get and you walk and you look. And when I go in, I look and I leave. I mean, I know what I want. I go, I look, boom, 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 and I leave. So that's 2 stories I'll share with you to kind of get you thinking about. Now we're going to kind of talk about this, some things you can do. I'm going to give you some resources that I found. And so Walter, before I get going, you want to start off with anything?
Yeah, I can just back up what Highboy said. We've only got one store here in town that sells reloading components. There's one in the next town up 20 miles away, and then there's one 60 miles away, which the one at 60 miles away is the Hogue Pro Shop. And they also happen to be a Dillon dealer.
Nice.
And and my nephew lives in that town, so I go up there periodically. And every time I go in there, I look and see. The last time I was there, they had some Federal large pistol primers and some Winchesters. So I bought a couple bricks. He said, "How many do you want?" I said, "How many can I have?" He said, "Well, we'll sell them till they're gone." I said, "Well, I don't need that many. I'll just take 2 bricks." They were $45, which is what they were charging for Federal before things got thin on us. Um, and by the time I would buy a $38 brick of primers online, buy a case of them, by the time I get them in the house with shipping and hazmat, they're pretty close to that. So I didn't mind paying $45 for them. But he had some powder. He was still pretty well stocked in powder. I bought a 5-pound jug of Trail Boss, which was gone everywhere else, and I shoot quite a bit of that in my little cowboy action.
That was a nice score. I saw that.
Yeah, or my 45 Cowboy Special is what I'm trying to say. Loads I shoot. In fact, I just cast up a bunch of bullets for that yesterday. So, you got to look around. And I bought a jar of bullseye, a 1-pound jug of bullseye up in the next closest town, which is called Arroyo Grande. The shop there, he carries some components, not a lot, but he's got some stuff. And I walked in there, and there was a pound of bullseye at normal price.
Yeah.
So I snagged that.
So
it can be done.
The things I want to talk about price. Then I want to talk about the 4 components: the powder, the primers, the brass, the bullets. What's out there? How to find them? Okay. So the first thing I'll tell you is this: price. Personally, I would not spend crazy prices. I wouldn't pay over $50 for 1,000 primers. Now, let me tell you this. I think they're going to start trickling in a little bit, trickling in. And what's going to happen is, like, all these guys that are hoarding them, a lot of them will start getting enough and start backing off on it, and then they'll give the other guys a chance to get in there. So this week, my wife, she went with her family, and they were in another little town. And while she was there, I said, "Hey, I'm going to call a local guy over there, see if he's got any primers." And she said, "Yeah." And she laughed, and she said, "But he probably won't." And I said, "Yeah, he probably won't." So I called him, and Dr. Ron, and he says, "I got a ton of primers." I said, "You're kidding?" He says, "Yeah, we just got a huge shipment in." I said, "Oh, how many can I buy?" He said, 500. I said, "Sold. Would you put my wife's name on him?" He said, "Yeah, I'll hold them for her." So my wife, I called her. My wife, she's like, "Oh, primers. I'm on it. Right?" She's like, she must have been speeding over there. So we got 500 primers,
Yeah.
large pistol primers. That's gold. But what we didn't do, we didn't pay an arm and a leg for these. $22 for these, so that would be 44 for 1,000.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, right?
Right.
Um, so as far as paying a lot of money, I would keep shopping online, and I would keep looking at your local gun shops. Buy from reputable companies. So you're going to order them from Brownells or Midway. Now, I'm going to share a link with you. Okay. This guy, he gets stuff in and he gets it to you. And you're not going to get these primers where someone sat there and took, 15 out of each sleeve. Okay. Here's your link. Powder Valley. That guy's awesome, and he's straight up as a 12 o'clock sun. He's good to deal with, and he gets stuff in. Now, like I said, what I do is every day after work, I don't care how tired I am, I know where I'm going to look for my components, and I do it. Boom, 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 boom. Every day. So every morning and every night, you're going to go to Powder Valley. Don't go to Gun Broker and pay a stupid price. Don't go to any place where you're buying them from someone that's selling out of their stash. Now I'm going to show you this. Now I want to first talk about primers. Let's talk about primers. You'd better be careful who you're buying primers from. Now, I want you to watch this. Watch. This is a little primer right here. Those are my solvents. I set this primer here a week ago. It's all black and nasty. You can see the red, but look at the black. So what's happening on Gun Brokers, two things. Guys are buying them and going and selling them. Or guys are selling you out of their stash. Now, primers last forever. But some guy that's wanting to make money off you, he doesn't care what he gives you. I'll guarantee you, most of these guys, when they buy those new primers, that's not what they're selling. They're going to give you their old stock and they're going to keep the fresh. Does that sound pretty fair to say, Walter?
Yeah, I'm sure that that's going on, and it's shameful that there are reloaders out there who would do that to other reloaders.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's difficult to identify who those guys are.
Yeah.
But that's just terrible.
Yeah. So for your primers, first off, buy them from somewhere reputable. So when they show up that no one didn't get into them and you paid a fair price. Powder Valley, I think he's $44 for a brick. You're going to pay shipping and hazmat. We all know that. But at least you know what you're getting, and you're not paying $200. Now, right now in our town, primers are going for $100 through local gun shops, but Sportsman's, they're still $35. Last time I heard, they're still $35. Cabela's is probably in the $45 range. So that's the first thing with your primers. Now, another thing with primers is this. Right now, I cannot tell you guys what I would do because I got a lot of primers. There's some guys that have no primers. So I'm trying to put myself in the worst case scenario. Last year, I did a video talking about COVID. It was just right when it came out. And what I said is COVID's real, but the problem's going to be the economic fallout. Okay. So right now, copper is $3.65 a pound. 2010, it was $4.20 some odd cents a pound. 2021, it has the stampings to beat what was 2010. Well, guess what your primers are made out of? Copper. Copper plated bullets, your brass. So they're not going to get any cheaper. Okay. So for right now, don't be impatient. I think the primers will show up. You just have to pay a bit more for them, but don't pay the gun broker prices. So for right now, what you can do is you can concentrate on other things, like getting your brass, because brass you can process while you're waiting. At least you're doing something in that reloading world that we want to do. You know, it wasn't our dream to ever sit there and process brass, but you got to admit, when you have this sitting here, you want to be doing something. Does that sound about right, Walter?
Yeah, and there's plenty to do. Even for the new guys, you're slowly bringing in your equipment. You got time to get yourself familiarized with it. You can, I spent some time today sorting some 45 ACP brass by head stamp because I've got these big buckets full of brass, and I thought, well, I'll sit down, give me an opportunity to go through and sort some head stamps out. And so I got a big tray here that I'm working on, and so these are all the same head stamp. And why not? If you got time to do that, then go ahead and do it. Brass prep is kind of sort of the drudgery part for a lot of guys, including myself, of reloading. But it does pay off to go through and prep your brass and do the case mounts and do the primer pockets and get everything all cleaned up. So a guy can spend quite a bit of time doing that if you're new to reloading. Even with brand new brass. That's if I buy brand new brass, which isn't very often, but if I do, first thing I do is take it through my machine and chamfer and deburr the case mounts and uniform the primer pockets, even with brand new brass. So that's something that a person could do and learn about trimming and how to use all your equipment, that kind of stuff. Because let's face it, a lot of our gear is coming in piecemeal these days. Folks, I was reading one of the guys on the forum today, forgot who it was now, said that he had just found a press. It was a bare 750, didn't have a tool head or anything on it, and I think the naked one comes with a tool head, just no dies or anything. And so he bought it, and he'll look somewhere else or later and get the dies he needs and measure and all that other kind of stuff. If you sit around waiting for the perfect dump on your bench, that may not happen for quite a while. Where one source has everything you need. So it's kind of, get it when you can, where you can.
So that's my thought on the primers. Okay, now with prices going up, brass, that's the next place that you want to be. And I am seeing brass out there.
Yeah.
Just like primers, there's some places it's paying a lot, but the problem with brass right now is this: it's not that it's not out there, it's just that they're selling it so fast. It takes time for them to process that. When they're getting all this brass in, and they got to sort it by cartridge type, and then like 45 auto, they got to make sure that they separate the large primer from the small primer. And then some guys, they want only Lake City brass, so they're having to take out all the Lake City brass and divide that. So the companies, they don't have the places that process brass. They've only got so much equipment. They're set up only. It doesn't matter how many people they got. That equipment will only move so many cases, so many pieces of brass in an hour. So the problem with the brass right now is it's just a time thing.
Yeah.
And it's just catching it at the right time. Now, one thing I would recommend is uncommon calibers like 41 Magnum. I was talking to Doodle. He's on the forum and he's selling the brass. He said he's got a lot of uncommon calibers in little boxes. He keeps, as he gets them, he just puts them back and puts them back and puts them back. And he shot me a picture of all his totes with this brass. I mean, this guy, he's got tote after tote after tote of all these uncommon calibers. So if you've got an uncommon caliber that you want to load for, that might be something. I know Ammo Brass, he said sometimes he gets crazy calibers in, and if people ask, he'll sell it to them, right? Because he's looking for someone to sell it to. So that's one idea. So now with your brass, it's just kind of a game of looking for it, um, and being able to buy it, and just be patient that they'll ship it to you. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
now,
and if you're hurting just for the brass, if you've got everything else, like Highboy says, there's alternatives besides even something like 41 Magnum, even within the more common calibers like 38. You can find 38 short and long Colt brass. That's out there. I mean, that's an uncommon one. A lot of people don't shoot that. In the 44 group, you can find 44 Russian brass. In the 45 group, you can find 45 Cowboy Special and 45 Schofield, and you can shoot those out of your 45 Colt caliber revolvers. So there are alternatives that if you think about it, you might be able to come up with.
I don't know who put Andy in timeout, but Andy shouldn't be put in timeout. I wouldn't know who did that. I really don't. I got a whole list of people that can be moderators. So there could be 1 to 10 people back there that they might have just accidentally done it. So I apologize, Andy. But Andy, thanks for texting me and letting me know. Okay, so now here's one for you. So early this morning, I was drinking my coffee, and I mean, it was early. I just sat down and hadn't really looked outside much. And I looked at my wife and I said, I think that sun's coming up looking at that window. You want to go out to the desert, walk around and pick up some brass? And she said, yeah. So we got up and then I looked outside and it was all wet. And I said, no,
Nah.
brass never looks good when you pick it up out of the mud. I said, we'll wait, and I don't want to go out there walking around, get the truck all muddy. So another idea is, where do you shoot? Like, we have a lot of places out in the desert, what have you. You can go out and, you know what? It's a lot of exercise when you've been over and you've picked up, 500 pieces of brass. It's a good exercise. It's a good ab workout, you
Yeah.
know, and you get all this free brass that someone left. It's most of the time it's once fired. So there's another.
All of those 60 grain curls, right?
That's it, yeah. So there you go. Yeah, yeah. So there's our brass.
Yeah.
Now what I see starting to come back is powder. Powder's starting to hit, and what happens with powder is it hits in bulk on a shelf, like in one gun shop. It's the weirdest thing. I'll be going to gun shops and they'll, oh no, we haven't seen one. All of a sudden I'll go into one and he's got a whole slug.
Right.
And so I get what I need, and then no one has it. And then all of a sudden, a week later, this guy gets his order, right? That's why you got to go to. I go to all the guys they know. Hey, what's up, High Boy? They call me High Boy. They know about my channel. Hey, yeah, no, nope, nothing today. Hey, it's good to see you. Because I'm a customer. I buy, right? They don't mind you coming in. Give you an idea. Some of the powders I've got. I'm just showing these because I found this really interesting. As soon as Walter sees this, he'll be like, "Hey, give those my way." Be like, "Hey, give those to me, High Boy. I got 2 pounds of tight group." You like that, Walter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I scored on that. I've seen a lot of tight group. Everyone that gets powder in, they're all getting tight group, and every time they come in, they get about 2 cases. Okay, so that's what I've been seeing as far as tight group. Now, the one that amazed me, this blows me away. I've been looking for Varget for over a year. Okay, so I go into this place and I score on 1, 2, 6 1-pound jugs of Varget. And I thought, oh my gosh, I got the last in the world. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing Varget. What do you make of that, Walter?
Yeah, Varget was one of the first ones to get scarce the last time we went through this, and everybody was looking for Varget, and I had maybe a pound of it left, and I did exactly the same thing. I walked into a shop, and he had a bunch of it, always in 1-pound jars, and it was a little pricey. It was $30 a jar or something, but I bought 5 jars of it then. I left one on the shelf because I didn't want
Yeah.
to take it off.
Yeah.
But, um, but yeah, and the shop that I do most of my trading in here now is called Turner's Outdoors, and it's a California-based chain. Although I think they just opened one in Nevada, also, mostly Southern California, um, and they have good points and bad points, just like any chain is going to have. And I was talking to them about the powder. For a while, they had a lot of stuff on their shelf because there are not many reloaders, I guess, in town here that were frequenting that shop. And that's where I got my Dillon. I walked in there one day and it was on the floor. But back in September, I snagged that sucker. And he's got 2 Dillon 550s on the floor right now, sitting on the floor, and a case feeder, and
Oh,
some, a few other little odds and ends. But then when I was in here this last week, there's practically no powder. And I said, what, you've had powder in here for the last 6 months. He said, yeah. He said, but the whole chain buys it all at once. And they distribute it out to their individual shops, from their main warehouse. And he said, and so that particular store doesn't put in an order for somebody like me who walks in and says, order me some bullseyes. That's not how they do it. They put in a company order, and when it comes in, it comes in. And he said, we don't ever really know here in Santa Maria when we're going to get it. It's, we'll tell you when we know.
right. Yeah. Well, I was thinking, I've heard all these rumors of why Varget wasn't around. Australia had a couple plants burned down. You hear all these things. Um, so I thought maybe that powder was getting so low that they found all this old Varget somewhere, and it was like, well, this is some of the last stuff we got. Get it out. But
Yeah.
looking at this lot number, I'm going to read the lot number off to you, Walter. Ready?
Yeah.
It's 1051920. Wouldn't you think the 20 was the year?
Probably. That's probably this year's stuff.
Yeah. So they're manufacturing it. That tells me that they are manufacturing Varget.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's starting to hit. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a powder. Another one I scored on. I got 7 1-pound jugs of Hodgson's 4895. Yes. M1 Garand, here we come. That's been really hard to find that started dying out around April I couldn't find any since April. And I saw that. Now what I'm seeing is whenever powder shows up, I'm seeing the tight groups, the 4895. I'm seeing the 700X. So those are the powders I'm seeing. The other powder I'm seeing, I scored on 2 power pistols. I'm starting to see power pistol hit everywhere. When all the powder shows up, powder pistol is always in the bunch. I just ordered 2 4-pound powder pistols through Powder Valley. Keep an eye on Powder Valley on their powders. They get it in regularly, and I was pretty. That's the first time I ever ordered powder and paid shipping and hazmat. The hazmat wasn't as bad as what I thought. I thought the hazmat was going to be a lot more, so I didn't feel too bad. Another powder I got was True Blue, and I got 2 of these. One of them I got at Sportsman's. The other one, this was a kind of a funny story. I went to this local gun shop, and he had a 1 pound of True Blue, and I said, there was no price. I said, how much is that? And he looked at me, and he gave me a ridiculously low price. And I said, do you have any more? He said, let me go look. And he went back, looked, came back, said, no, I don't have any more. And I said, that's a really good price. He said, yeah, I'll tell you why. Some guy ordered that, and when I got it in, he told me he didn't want it. And he said, no one's wanted it. I said, I'll take the last one. It was a great price, right? So I got 2 of these. So I think you like True Blue, don't you, Walter?
I've never used it.
Oh,
I've
what's
never
the one
even
you use? You must use Blue Dot.
the pistol powders that I use the most of are Tight Group, Winchester 231, Bullseye,
Mm-hmm.
and Unique. Those are and BE86. I use quite a bit of BE86, and the only reason that well, it's a good powder, but during the last shortage, there was a lot of we were going through all this same stuff, and I found 8 pounds of BE86, and so I bought a couple of 8-pound jugs of that. So I've been feeding off of that for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
And it shoots really well. In fact, that's what's going into these guys today.
Wow. That's great.
So,
JH is saying power pistol is his favorite for 45 auto. I agree.
Power pistol's a good one. So is bullseye. Bullseye is my go-to for this little bullet. That's actually a Lee's copy of the Hensley and Gibbs number 68, 200 grain bullet, and the quintessential target load for that over the years has always been 4.9 grains of bullseye, and that's a good one. That's the same one that I couldn't get to cycle in my Springfield XD, though. Works fine in the 1911s, but XD hates it. But yeah, so. And one of the things that happens then, of course, is we end up with some of these powders that we never otherwise may have thought about using, and so we get that whole new discovery of, hey, this is a good powder. I'll try this stuff works. I'd buy it again, or it doesn't work, and I'd never buy it again. But
yeah,
you get the opportunity to try some different stuff.
So now I want to talk about a powder, and I did a video on this, but I've shot a bit more of this with my 9mm, my 45 auto, right here. And there's a reason I'm telling you guys this. A couple reasons. One, this has been everywhere in all the gun shops, and it blows me away because they're all out of powder, and I see this 700X sitting over there. The other thing is pretty affordable, but here's the deal with 700X. It's kind of got the same recoil characteristics as Unique, but I'm using almost a grain less per round on my 45 auto. So I think that comes out to be like 1,600 more rounds out of a jug of powder for my 45 auto, and same with my 9. So you're gonna get like roughly 50 out of a big old 8-pound jug of powder. You're gonna get like 1,500 more rounds out of that. Right there, man.
Yeah, and I only got this stuff because, well, for two reasons, Highboy. One was that you had recommended it, and the gun club has a bunch of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so it was easy to get for them when they were out of clays and a lot of red dot and the other things that the shotgun shooters use, and they use that 700X now, again, because that's what's available. They'd rather have their red dot, but they like the 700X. And so I said, well, I'll give it a try. And I haven't shot a whole lot out of that. I did shoot some out of it, and it works fine. It's good powder, and there's lots of load data for it. And I just never paid any attention to it, mostly because I had no need to, because I got other powders.
Am I beeping now? Am I starting to beep with my headphones?
Sometimes, comes and goes. Not right at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, I am like, I get away with a grain less with the 700X out of my 9mm and my 45. So for every 4 rounds, I gain another round I can shoot. It's that much. So John Hatton, yeah, you got to check out 700X, and then check out 800X. I was looking at that, and that, to me, in my opinion, that's running more like the power pistol. And I was looking at the charge rates. 800X, it uses a little less than power pistol. So if you can get that cheaper than power pistol, it's going to have that punch like power pistol, but you're going to get more rounds. And I'm just theorizing. I haven't done anything with it, but someone, if I could get that in the little 1-pound containers, I will be trying that out. You know it.
And Squatch Reloading is here. Hey, Ben. And he's saying WSF is usually available where he is, and that's a good 9mm powder also. And I've never used WSF, but I have seen it locally.
Okay.
It does show up.
I've been seeing WSF all over the place now. because I bought the power pistol and I saw that and I thought, man, if I hadn't had power pistol, I'd have jumped all over that. And so I've been seeing that in the batches.
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to Reb Tyree because he said earlier in the feed here that he was driving and listening, and so he can't comment. So I would say hi to Reb.
How you doing, Reb? It's always good to have you, whether video or audio. So we talked about primers and bullets. No, primers, brass, and powder. So these are some of the powders that I'm seeing. So I think what we can take from powders is this. One, hazmat wasn't that bad through Powder Valley. Two, it's starting to come back. I'm getting online in my local area, seeing what people are selling, and they're raping people on prices. Don't
Yeah.
buy powder that way. Plus, you don't know if they've messed that powder up or something. Okay, so I think powder's going to come back. So be patient. I think that's the trick. I think by February, if you're really looking, you'll get the powder you need, and you don't need 10 of them. Just if you can get one or two to get you rolling, and then as it comes back, get another one month, another one the next, and next thing you know, we're out of the woods. Okay.
Right. And exactly. And don't be afraid to try a new powder if you got load data for it. Just because it's not your number one powder. It may be welcome to
Absolutely.
get your number one powder if it's in the list, if it's in the data list, and it may be
Yeah.
5 or 6 down on the in the list, on burn rate there. If
Go
you
for
can
it.
get it, go for it. If nothing else, it's trigger time. It may not turn out to be
Yeah.
match grade
Yeah.
ammo or something, but
just don't buy Hodgdon's 110 or 296 thinking you're going to send a whole lot downrange.
Yeah, well, you are going to send a whole lot downrange with every shot.
Oh yeah, boom.
And it goes fast too. A jug of that stuff doesn't last very long, but
Yeah.
but it's powerful stuff. So yeah, powders, look, and I have mentioned this before over on the forum. One thing you can do is you get into your data manuals and you look in the manuals at all of the powders that there's data for, and you get and make a list of them, and take that list with you into the shop for each caliber. List all the powders that you have data for, and go into your shops, and if there's the first 8 on your list aren't available, but the 9th one down there is on the shelf, then grab it. But don't go into the shop empty-handed though. And not see. I wonder if I can use that with 45 auto or not. Make yourself a list of what powders can be used. You have loading data for. Stick that in your pocket, and then go shopping and see what you can find.
What I've been doing is taking snapshot pictures of load data on my cell phone and saving that.
Idea.
Yeah, so when I go in, I start pulling those pictures up, and I pretty much know what I'm after. But every once in a while, I'll see a powder, and I'll go, okay, oh man, they use it for that. I was looking at a powder the other day, and I didn't need it, but a guy next to me said, "What's that for?" And I told him, and he goes, "Well, are you going to buy it?" I said, "Oh no, go for it." He goes, "Oh, thank you," and he took it. So I was able to help him out. That was kind of cool, So it kind of leaves us with bullets now, talking about like bullets, and I'll let Walter start out. What are some alternatives with bullets?
Oh man, bullets is one of the things actually that you can handle, I think, more easily in some ways than you can with the other components, because we have lots of choices, particularly with I was going to say particularly with cast bullets. Well, let's come back to that. There are plated bullets, there are jacketed bullets, and there's cast bullets, right? Those are our high-tech coating. We can do cast powder coated or cast high-tech. And those bullets are there. I've been kind of watching Brownells and Midway, and their jacketed bullets has come in and out. More frequently, for sure, than primers and brass are coming in and out. Maybe you want a Hornady XTP, 230 grain XTP or 200 grain XTP bullet for your 45 auto.
Yeah.
They're rolling through. I see them rolling through. Plated bullets are not real hard to get. There are several
No.
companies that are making plated bullets, and
Yeah.
they're rocking and rolling pretty fast. There's Acra, there's Berry's, there's Extreme, and I'm seeing those guys all have bullets. Again, they come and they go, but it's not a it's we haven't reached rock bottom on plateds yet. If you don't mind shooting plateds, and I shoot lots of them. I don't mind
I like
shooting
plated bullets.
plateds at
Yeah.
all. They're relatively inexpensive, and if you can get a plated bullet, a 9mm plated bullet for 9 or 10 cents per, that's not bad. That's way cheaper than paying 2 bits a round for a jacketed bullet.
Darn right.
So the plateds are there, and you can get on their the various companies notify me lists like Acra. And I like Acra's got some quality plated bullets,
Oh,
and their price point is better than
and the
some of
rest.
the others.
I
So,
noticed they've been going up lately, but that's because of raw materials.
yeah, everybody's going up a little bit, but they're still beating others. And I still use a lot of Extreme plateds, and I probably have 10,000 of them, 15,000 Extreme bullets sitting in my closet because I would buy them when they were on sale or when they had free shipping and that kind of stuff. And so I'd buy 2,000 or 3,000 at a time. And so my, advice is to go find those plated companies, and if they don't have what you're looking for today, get on their notify me list, and when it pops up, go buy some and try them if you've never shot them before. Same thing with your jacketed bullets. Those are, there are companies around like Everglades. And
Am I beeping?
I don't hear it. I got a garbage truck outside.
Oh, that's what I'm hearing. Okay.
You never know what you're going to hear out of this garage. Could be F-18s flying over or garbage truck backing up. But yeah, the plateds are good to go, and they're relatively inexpensive. You just got to keep on top of the cast bullets. And as I said, there are guys out there. There are companies. I like Everglades Ammo. They've got some name manufacturers like Hornady bullets that they get in and out periodically. And Northeast Reloading is another one that has bullets, and both of those guys will, they've got jacketed, they've got plated, they've got cast, they've got quite a bit. So you can do that if you learn to cast. You're home free, because
that's where I was hoping you'd go.
I mean, you can make a lot of bullets, providing you can get the lead. Okay, these are some ones that I made cast up here just recently. I can't show them very well on this camera, but here's one that I'm loading today. That's from an NOE mold, 230 grain, round nose, 45 ACP. NLG is a common term for that, which is no lube groove, or HTC. Some of the companies call them that for high tech coating. This bullet is designed to be coated. I powder coated that one. Okay, here's another one that I cast. I just happen to have these two out because I was casting these.
That's a nice Dylan blue.
Yeah, it is. That's actually Eastwood's Ford light blue, and it's real close to the blue that Dylan uses. But anyway, casting, and even if you're not a caster yet, it adds a whole new dimension. It does take time, but I'm not running out of bullets. And if you're even thinking about getting into bullet casting someday, start collecting your lead now.
Yeah.
And build yourself up a supply of lead until you got 500 pounds of it. That's not too much to have on hand, because it'll start going fast. There's no shortage of powder from Eastwood. A pound of powder coat will coat 1,000 rounds or so. I mean, and that stuff's not expensive at all. Seems like it. You pay $10 or $15 for a pound of powder, but it lasts for a long time. So start saving up some lead. Check your plumbers that roofers. Used to be able to get it out of dental labs, but they've all gone digital now, so that supply kind of dried up. But if you still get lead wheel weights in your state, talk to your tire shops and see what you can negotiate there. But bullet casting will keep you in bullets, and it's not that hard to learn. It does take, it is a skill, and there's a certain amount of art to it. And in tough times, molds are hard to come by. You start looking for the mold you want, and
At least the common ones, huh?
yeah, the common ones
Mm-hmm.
are kind of scarce right now. Although companies like Lee and RCBS and Lyman, those are Seiko, um, those are the big guys. But there's some smaller companies like NOE. Um, they're in Utah. They've got they're a little smaller operation, and they tend to have more stock of molds on hand. A little more expensive than like a Lee mold would be. Well, everybody's more expensive than Lee molds, but Lee molds work fine. They're aluminum. They're a little tricky to manage the heat level in them, but not all that hard to learn. And you can get
I'm
into
with
casting
YouTube.
for not all that much money.
I'm with YouTube 13. He's saying a scrap of sailboat keel ballast. That's what I'm
Yep.
saying. 2,500
Boat yards.
pounds. We could
Yeah,
be like a
boat yards
bunch
get
of
lots of that. You just got to have a way to move it because
we could we could be like a bunch of vultures and literally just start chiseling it apart. Could you imagine if all 107 of us jumped on 2,500 pounds with chisels and hammers and torches?
sawzalls and stuff. Cut through that stuff. Show up.
That would be a killer YouTube video. How we get our lead for what we do.
Yeah, but again, bullet casting is I enjoy it a lot, as you guys already know. I'm always posting pictures up of what I casted today, and I had some pictures up just the other day. So it's another dimension. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, should be a pepper Texas prune juice. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, but so that's another alternative, and it's a good thing to have in your back pocket for times like this because we know it's going to happen again. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
I doubt that anybody who's with us today is going to ever let themselves get caught short again after this is over and things even out. The oil gets poured on the troubled waters, and where components become available again. But I tell everybody, hey, you better have about 3 years worth of stuff stacked up. Figure out how much shooting you are doing or how much you want to do. And 3 years supply of primers and powders is not too much to have on hand. And neither is a way to melt lead and cast bullets. It's easy to do, and it's takes a little practice, but it's not rocket science really. Like it can be. You can turn anything into rocket science, but when your next door neighbor is stuck having to buy store-bought bullets and you can't, and you bring out the casting pot and away you go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It'll keep you shooting. Yep. But we do have these smaller guys, Summit City Bullets guys.
He's got Summit City Bullets. Yep.
He's got product, and his price point is good. And so we have these smaller companies around that if you go do a little research and ask around, go ask on the forum, hey, who's able to get any kind of bullets? And his bullets, by the way, they're cast bullets, high-tech coated. Okay. Acme Bullets was that way for a while, but they've gotten real popular again, and he's having trouble holding stock now. But
I got the link for everybody right here. Here you go. You want some bullets? Okay, so I was going to add on to that. So, I was thinking that when it gets a little nicer, I'm going to get a 5-gallon bucket and some screen mesh and a shovel.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out. I know where some berms are, and I'm going to dig lead out of them berms.
Oh, I've done that before. When our national forest, before they shut everything down here because they closed the outdoor range, the legitimate shooting places. They weren't what you'd really call a range, but they were designated shooting areas is what the national forest areas were called. They shut those down completely, even before the COVID thing and stuff started to happen, because guys were going out there shooting and leaving a mess.
Yeah.
It was very irritating. But I would go out there every time I went out and shoot, and I'd go mine those berms and bring home 20 pounds
Hmm.
of lead, every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Hmm.
you
That's
know,
a lot of lead.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you can do that. And Critter is saying, he has access to a scrap yard. So if you got access to a local automotive junkyard, you can go check those out too. Sometimes those guys got buckets of wheel weights, or you could ask, hey, can you go through and pull wheel weights off? They might charge you for it because they're in the business to make money out of that junk. But a source is a source. So
Yeah. Hmm. Um. So now I want to talk about this. I want to talk about equipment. Before we get into that, I want to talk about shooting. Okay. An alternative. Rimfire 22, right? I'm still seeing that in stores. The other day I went in and there was like 10 bricks, and they didn't have they didn't have a limit. Some
yeah,
stores, they don't have run on that. But for some reason, other stores, they stay wiped out. Don't ask me why. So shooting rimfire is your trigger time. So one of the problems that you have in times like this, if you reload, you don't get to shoot. I mean, you can't load, you can't shoot. Um, so rimfires, that's an awesome way to shoot because it preserves your components. It slows you down using your components up, and so you still can practice your marksmanship skills. So
yeah,
that's not bad. And guess what I see on the shelves? Little 22 pistols all over the place.
yeah.
And so it kind of makes sense. By the way, Walter, guess what caliber bullet I've been seeing over the last month in all the reloading, all the local gun shops? What caliber do you think?
Oh, 41 mag.
Yeah, and I went over to Sportsman's, and there
Yeah,
was four boxes lined up. There was 41 mag dies,
yeah.
and there was powder. I thought, man,
I keep
just a
looking for a 41 mag, and I'll have one. I've got dies, I've got molds, I've got bullets, I got brass for 41 mag and 41 special. I just
hmm
don't have a firearm for it. I want to back up here when we were talking about, might have buckets of lead wheel weights, and then YouTube 13 says, yeah, now they got buckets of zinc. Yeah, I got 300 pounds of zinc under this bench right too, and that's a cast zinc bullet.
that's my next step.
So, and this stuff is trickier. Andy 79Z28 got me started with casting in zinc, and you can make a pretty nice bullet out of zinc. It's
Do you
light.
have to do you still lube that?
No, you shoot that bullet. I mean, you can, but there
But it's
doesn't seem
ready
to
to
be
go.
any need to. This stuff is harder than lead.
Hmm.
It's a little softer than copper. So it's not going to foul your
Yeah.
barrel. Um, you're not going to zinc the barrel with this stuff because it's harder. It's just that it's lightweight. So
Hmm.
that's would be like a 200 and something grain. That's a 38 caliber bullet, um, and it only weighs 120 grains in zinc. So coming up with loads for it takes some experience and experimentation. And you got to use a different kind of a pot. You got to have a cast iron pot to do it with. But if you're in and I'd forgotten to mention that, but if you're in an area like California where we don't get lead wheel weights anymore here, if you can find zinc wheel weights, use those.
Hmm.
And I got a bunch of zinc stashed. So
Andy says the zinc is self-lubing. Andy sent me a pot. I just haven't done it. I think the biggest thing stopping me is you just don't have load data for it,
yeah,
and I just got to sit down and just do it. Really.
yeah. And we'll coach you through it when you get ready to give it a try. You got to have an iron mold though. You can't use the aluminum molds. Um, like a Lee mold. You can't use those. You need an iron mold. The aluminum molds will just get torn up trying to
Hmm.
do it, and we're casting so much hotter with zinc than we do with lead. But again, it's an alternative, and so I learned
Hmm.
how to do it. Andy learned how to do it. Am I shooting that stuff every day? No, but it's just here in California, we're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from California telling us that we're not going to get to use lead bullets anymore. For
Yeah.
shooting anything, they've already said you can't use it at all for hunting. They haven't said you can't use it in the at the shooting ranges, but they tried. We had legislation up this last year saying, "Hey, no lead ammo at public and private shooting range." So we know that they're trying to do that. So we're going to stick it to them again. If they do, we're going to go to the shooting range with what looks like a lead bullet and say, "Yeah, test it." And
Yeah.
what it is. It's not lead
So
bullet.
so now with that, shooting alternatives would be one guy said airsoft guns. I think that's great. Pellet guns. That's great. Uh, rimfire ammo, right? 22. And another thing that I'm totally all about is dry fire practice. I do that most nights, just dry fire, dry fire, dry fire. And one thing I'll tell you, my steel targets, that's what I dry fire at right there,
Mm-hmm.
because I always check my guns. But I always thought the one time I mess up and I got a real round into there, my neighbors would really think me that I was holding the bead right on those steel targets. And boy, that would sure give me a surprise. But I think everyone should do that wherever you're. Always know what's your target, right? What are you pointing at, right? Be aware
Right.
of that. And so, but good dry fire practice. So that's a must in my opinion, because shooting guns is just like riding a bike. Man, I hadn't rode a bike for a long time. When I got on one, I couldn't do my wheelies, my bunny hops like I used to. You can still ride the bike, just not as proficient, and that's how guns are. But most of it is just your mechanic skills, right?
Right.
So you got to make sure you're getting your dry fire practice in,
Sure.
especially if
And there's the laser um, dry fire
mhm.
systems too. Catherine has one of those, and she sits up there in her hallway and has that set up.
Who has one?
Catherine, my girlfriend,
Oh man, that's cool. I
so
really would like to get one.
she practices with that a lot and likes to do it. It doesn't cost anything. Once the units are $100 or whatever they are,
Hmm.
but you sit there and practice, and it gives her instant feedback. It says, well, you're shooting low left. You're pushing the trigger. What are you doing? And
Yeah,
it helps her figure out what she's doing wrong. So she
that's
enjoys that.
awesome. Will you maybe post on the forums some information about what the one she's using?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking at those, and I would be definitely interested in that, because I think my wife would definitely, she doesn't like to come out and dry fire practice, but she would do that. I think
Yeah.
she would kind of like that.
I forget which
My
one
wife.
Catherine has, but I'll ask her. There's several out there that are all kind of in the same price range. I would say right
Hmm.
around $100 or so, and then of course you can get the apps and the better app and the better app and all
Yeah,
that kind of stuff with them. But the basic units, when she was looking for one, she said, "I'm going to look for a laser one." And I said, "Well, I'll find one." She said, "No, I want to find it myself." So I did look around a little bit at them, but I didn't really pursue it. But I'll find out which one hers is and post it up.
hey, I gotta say something to Ted. Ted asks Blazu. Yeah, we're full, aren't we, buddy? Idaho's full. Uh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, no
oh,
vacancy. Yeah,
and in
well, big
Idaho,
big
we
summer.
got
You get the
scary bears and mountain lions and wilderness, and it's 10 feet of snow. Uh, Ted's laughing right now. He's going, yeah, yeah. And semi truck drivers, they drive blind and they kill people. So don't come to Idaho. We got forest fires and mean bears. Don't forget the mean bears.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Back to you, buddy.
Well, not only that, but Highboy lives there, so who'd want to live in that state?
Ted would. If Ted was in my garage, I'd be calling, Ted, put my gun down and put that one down too, Ted. All right, so good stuff. So now let's talk about reloading equipment, because today Michael Swarm shot me a text. He can't find things like competition shell holders, from Reading, and I was like, I've had like 10 guys since my live streams asked me, well, where do I get those? I'm like, everyone is out. Those are the one things that I thought they wouldn't be out of. But really, what the companies are manufacturing are the high demand things. I don't know that competition show holders are in high demand unless because of my live stream, everyone just bought them. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Reading is, they're like all the equipment manufacturers are backed up too,
Mm-hmm.
um, for various reasons. COVID has hit their, employment, and and they're busy, and the reloaders are getting thicker and thieves, and they got a bunch of brand new reloaders that are asking questions all day long, and so outfits like the big guys like Dillon and Reading and RCBS and their customer service lines are ringing off the hook. I got to say, I was really surprised at Reading. I had to call them on an issue one day last week, um, and I thought, well, okay, I'll get my cup of coffee and I'll get the I'll get the greatest hits from Hall and Oates for about 20 minutes before I can get to a human. No, they picked up the phone and I talked to a girl within 30 seconds. On about the third ring, they picked it up.
Yeah.
I quickly described my problem. Said, let me send you over to customer service. I talked to a guy named Don. He picked up right away, and I identified my problem. And before I even had finished the sentence, he finished the sentence for me. He knew exactly what the problem was and how to fix it. Man, that whole operation only took me 4 minutes, and I was in and out on the phone with those guys. So that was pretty impressive. But yeah, it can be hard to get gear right now too, and it's for a new reloader that's frustrating. I know it is, you guys.
We just keep them busy there. I'm looking for a video. I just had a
Okay.
request for something, and I've only got like 3,000 videos, and I don't even know how to reload.
Yeah. Yeah. 41 cal says Reading might not even be open. What's today's Saturday? I don't know whether they're open today or
No,
not.
they won't be open till Monday probably.
Yeah. But yeah, I was real impressed with customer service from them. Like I said, I figured I'd be on the line with them for a long time before I got to an actual human. But yeah, guys are saying that they're hearing beeping, and I can hear it too. Hi, boy. How about me? You guys, you hearing me
Okay,
beep also?
okay. Hang on. That's why I moved my camcorder closer.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anybody hearing my stuff beep? Or the last time I was on, I was having some problems with the video also and being real jerky. But I'm kind of a jerky kind of guy anyway. I've been told that anyway. Catherine reminds me of that periodically. Long Live 3 says he noticed it beeping when you're at the keyboard. And John Redcorn said he's on multiple waiting lists at some of the biggest distributors and he doesn't get a notification. John, what's happening with those big guys is when they get stuff in, it's gone within minutes. And so the notifications don't go out. And John Redcorn, I ordered a mold from them. I was looking for a mold, and Brownells didn't have it, and Midway at least had it on their list. But they said it was out of stock and not due till the 1st of January. So I hit the, please notify me. And they did. I got a notification. I went and it was there, and it was sold out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, I have a link I'm going to share. It's a live stream I did casting bullets. Give me just a second. I'll go find the other video. That was for Teddy's Gun Shop. Now, the thing with these videos I'm sharing with you, I'm new to casting, so just take them with a grain of salt. Not only do I not know how to reload, but I really don't know how to cast. Actually, I do. I do a pretty good job. It's just that I don't always have the time to do it. So,
And Andy 79Z28's got some good videos on casting. I've got a few. I don't put a whole lot of casting, but I do have some up there. They go check out on my channel. It's just Walter Bunning, just like on the forum. So you can, and there's lots of good video. And there's some of the more popular casters that are out there. Elvis Ammo is a good guy to go watch his stuff, and Fortune Cookie 45 LC is another good guy to watch. So there are lots of casters out there. CW Longshot is doing quite a bit of casting. So there's some good guys out there that are doing some bullet casting. I know that Squatch Reloading has been kind of getting into it. I haven't seen too much from Ben there yet. But yeah, there's tons of stuff on bullet casting. You got to kind of watch a lot of it and learn some things first, because there's a lot of trash videos. Guys who don't know what they're doing, that gets in trouble.
And the end result is going to be something.
Are you there, High Boy?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm having technical difficulties.
Okay. Randall Carr says Fortune Cookie 45 LC is a good guy to watch. Yeah, he lives not too far from me. He and I grew up in the same area, so I've known him for a long time. And in fact, he's one of the guys who I looked to when I was first starting getting into casting quite a few years ago. Long Live Free says he saw a T7 at one place he went today. Hard not to buy it. Yeah, I know. I see stuff too. And that's on the shelf and stuff that I already have, and I go, oh man, I should just get this and put it away, and because there'll be some other local guy who will need it or something. But it's hard to resist sometimes when you see stuff.
Okay, I want to ask Ted a question. Oh, never mind. He works behind the counter of a sporting goods store. Very awesome. I thought he was saying Sportsman's Warehouse, but
okay. And Squatch Reloading. Yeah, you got to stay away from those Georgia boys. They'll cost you a lot of money. Long Live Free says he's got 3 presses on my bench already. Yeah, I wish I only had 3 presses. High Boy's only got 1 or 2 presses.
yeah, but I don't know how to run them.
Yeah.
So anyway, man, sooner or later, wouldn't you think these companies have to get caught up with reloading equipment?
I think they're going to, and again, it's demand is so high, and those guys, they're like the ammo manufacturers. It's not like they can just go put a whole new tooling line up at Reading and start, and double their production. But the only thing they could do would be to maybe run another shift with the same tooling that they've got. The ammo guys are saying the same thing. Hey, we're running at max capacity right now, and they can't put up a whole new plant just to satisfy the current demand when they know full well, just like we do, that the current demand level is going to subside. As soon as these 8-10 million people that bought firearms for the first time, get done buying their ammo, and as soon as the new reloaders get stocked up and have what they think is sufficient, then things will start to even out a little bit. But it's not quite as easy as just saying, hey guys, step up production. It's hard for those guys to do that. They're trying. Plus, not to mention the fact that we got COVID going on, and their employees are getting sick.
Yeah. Okay, Ted. So I'm a Sportsman's Warehouse guy, brother. There's 2 places that I really like to buy guns: Idaho Guns, because Scott's a personal friend of mine, and Sportsman's Warehouse. I tell people, don't go to Cabela's, go to Sportsman's. And I stop out in Nampa, so next time I'll I'll ask for you and shake your hand. It'd be nice to meet you. That's great. Got a local guy.
And Power Hunter says, is there any input on the Lyman 8-hole turret, the American 8? I don't have one. Andy 79Z28, I think, has one. And I do know a couple other online guys have them that use them, and I don't think they stack up quite as well as the T7 does.
Do you want me to be honest? I don't like to give reviews. I can be honest, or I can sugarcoat it.
Yeah, be honest. I mean, there's no sugarcoating.
Remember Isuzu tracker? They made that tracker, and
oh yeah,
it's kind of like if people would say, "Oh yeah, man, it's my Jeep." I used to work for General Motors in the transmission department, and I would work on the trackers. And finally, one day, someone said, "What do you think of the tracker?" And I said, "Nice try. It's nice, but nice try." That's all I said. I wasn't going to rip it up. For the Lyman 8-hole turret, nice try. I'm going to do, here's my honest review. I was in a gun shop and I saw the Lyman and I thought, I'm not going to say nothing. But there was 3 guys talking. These were old guys. I said, can I ask you guys a question? And they said, yeah. I said, what do you think of this Lyman? And they said, young man, if we were you should go Reading.
Yeah.
And I said,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, this rating press, and it took me a while to break down and buy that press, as you guys have been around the forum and on Highboys live streams for a while. No, because we did an unboxing a couple of years ago, whenever it was that I got this, and was just reluctant, didn't want to spend the money. I had some other presses, and I finally bought it, and I should have bought it years ago. This is a great press, you guys. It is hard to beat this thing. It is rock solid. It's simple, and it can do pretty much everything. And so nowadays, when anybody says, well, what press should I get for my first press? Well, if you can come up with the bucks, this is the ideal first press, I think. I'm going to call it that ideal. It doesn't mean that it's your only option, but it can behave as a single stage, and every reloader needs a single stage at some point along the line anyway. This is a good place to start. You can learn the steps of reloading one stage at a time. You don't have to watch 4 or 5 stations on a progressive press simultaneously and have enough experience to understand what's going on at each station that's right and pick up on what's going on at each station that might be wrong. That's the kind of things that you need on that big blue guy back there. And to me, that takes some practice and experience. This guy, you can start right off, learning to size and deprime, and do that with 1,000 pieces of brass, and then come in and learn how to seat your primers. And you can do all those operations one at a time until you're real familiar with it, and you get the muscle memory going, so you know what that primer is supposed to feel like when it seats. And all of those things take practice. And that Reading, you can pay $300 for it, when you could go buy a Lee press for $100. But
okay, real quick, I want to say something to someone. This message is to Einer Schnuddenfuddy.
Wait a minute, I gotta go find that.
He lives in Boise. I need small rifle primers, any leads, not interested in being gouged. Sir, I live pretty close to you. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to share a link to my forum. I want you to join my forum, go to the forum and send me a private message, and I will arrange to sell you some small rifle primers for the same price I paid. I'll help you out. Would you like that? How's that? Now people, when I go in and I'm like buying primers, people say, "Oh, you're a hoarder." No, I got a big heart and I don't mind helping people. Okay, so this is for Einer. Go join my forum. I go by Highboy 76 Highboy. Shoot me a private message and I will help you out. Okay, I got 500 of them. I'll sell you. There we go. Now, old Ironhead's in. Sorry I couldn't call you back, brother.
Chesaree's here. He says he's looking into start shooting 38 short or 38 long Colt. Kind of think it would get better performance with shorter case. If you're doing reduced loads, that's a good way to go. There are die sets. Lee makes a die set for 38 and 30 long and short Colt. You can use the same die set for both. And I load and shoot those. I haven't shot much of them lately, but they're good to go. In a revolver. It's a revolver load, of course. But yeah, go shoot them. There's quite a bit of history behind that cartridge, the 38 and short and long Colt, and there's reasons why we went away from that. In the military. That was an old military round. It was just not a very strong round. And it was used in the Philippine War and was not very effective. But
thanks, Einer.
But anyway, yeah, give it a try, Cesare. What the heck, you might enjoy it. The 38 short. Go ahead.
Einer, it'll cost you like pizza out somewhere. Me and my wife and. Kind of like a Dutch deal, and that's where we can do the trade. That's where the deal will go down.
Oh man,
we're going to be dealing in primers.
This is starting to sound like a dope deal now.
And all of a sudden, me and Einer, I'll pull the primers out, and everyone on the live stream will go, "Hey, we're all here."
Yeah. There's 500 guys there, and Einer's stuck with the bill.
Margaret's gone at Powder Valley. Just keep an eye out. So one thing I've been watching on eBay, and I've seen some really nice RCBS single stage presses that no one's buying, and they're like, I'm like, I gotta have that at a really good price. So for those of you guys that you're looking for equipment out there, man, jump on eBay and just get some old rock chucker some guys have. In his garage. And there's another thing. I mean,
garage sales too.
I'm getting ready to say garage sales, but since it's not that time of year, you can always put an ad looking for. Now wait. If you put an ad looking, okay, I was a car salesman. I know how to get into the minds of people. I'm going to give you this little hint, okay, little trick. If you sit back, you'll never find it. But if you put a local ad out where you're at, put it up for spend enough money, it's online for 3 months. Tell them what you're looking for and how much you're willing to pay. Yeah, and in your mind, you're saying, yeah, but most guys want to gouge it. Yeah, but you know what? There's going to be that one old guy in a rocking chair that he doesn't want to take the time to post it. He doesn't want to meet rude people. And here you're a nice person. Put a really nice ad on. Say, hey, I'm really trying to get it reloading. I can't find the press. This is how much money I got. And you know what? I just saw, where was it on social media? Someone just scored on an entire, the old dude hooked him up with his press, his powder, his bullets, his brass. And any reloader would just freak out to get that deal. I would. So, instead of looking for it, sometimes to go fishing, you got to cast a little further, right? And, when I was raising my daughter, I told her, I said, you know what life is? And she said, what? I said, you see all those kids out there playing? She said, yeah. I said, life is You have to beat them in the race. As much as we love everybody, the fact of the matter is no one's going to help you in life. If you want something, you got to figure out how you're going to get it. Well, that's what I'm telling the viewers. If you want something, you got to figure out how to get it. I'll tell you one. You want to get some brass? Go to your job and in the break room, put a note on the board looking for brass. If you're a shooter and you have any brass, I would love to buy it from you and leave here my phone number. Please call. I would imagine a lot of people save their brass. I mean, I've talked to guys that have been saving it for years and they finally decided they weren't going to reload and they've still got the brass. So that kind of gives you some ideas. So if you're needing equipment, ask for it. You won't know. You'll never know. The worst case scenario is you don't find anything. The best case scenario is here's one. Okay, here's one. So you're new to reloading and you can't find the equipment. Walter, tell me what you think of this. So let's say our guy puts an ad out looking for equipment, and he finds an old guy that's got everything. Am I correct that he's got the teacher too?
Yeah, no doubt. That guy would probably love to help that guy out. Say, if it were me, and I'm not that far out of that game. I'm going to be there before too long. And I'd say if somebody was looking, there's some, youngster who wants to learn, I'd say, yeah, come on over. I'll leave all of the stuff set up. I'll show you how it all works and show you how it's done. And then you can decide if you want to do it or not. And if you want to buy any or all of this gear, I'll cut you a good deal on it just to make sure it's going to a good home. Heck yeah. And I bet most guys would do that.
Yeah.
The exception to that would be some poor soul has passed away and his family is trying to get rid of the gear, because that happens too. You see that in garage and estate sales frequently. So that probably wouldn't happen there. But if it's just somebody who says, hey, I'm not going to shoot anymore. I've got all this stuff. And, and I think if you said, hey, I'm new to this, I really don't know too much about how to do this. Would you be willing to, show me the ropes? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most of us are teachers at heart anyway, right?
Yeah. If you're really determined and you're willing just to deal straight with people, I think there's a lot of guys out there that are at that age that they're ready to step out of reloading and they would probably love to help someone. And there's going to be guys that they're going to want a lot of money for what they got. Yeah. Shake their hands and meet them and thank them and just go to the next,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Master 58 is saying, and this is another good point. He said he sold his 650 XL. So there may be guys like you and me that are moving upwards or laterally or something to different gear and put something that we've got up for sale. And somebody comes along and says, oh yeah, but I don't know how to use that press. And Mayasa said, yeah, he sold his 650 XL to this guy and gave him a 4-hour class on how to use it. So,
yeah,
so that stuff can happen.
Yeah. Well, I think we've covered a lot. So,
let's recap it a little bit. What we said, the stuff is not entirely unavailable, you guys. Components are there, but you got to work for them. You got to drive a little. You got to check around. You got to get on the phone. You got to keep your eyes open. And it's not like the stream has been completely dammed up. It's been choked off, but there's still a stream. The things that are most plentiful, I think, are brass and bullets, followed by powder, followed by primers, kind of in that order is what I'm seeing around here anyway. And so if you came in late, you can go back and replay the live stream. We covered lots of alternatives, not only of different ways you can go with some of the components, alternative practices that you can do when you can't shoot. There are things that you can still do at the bench and with your firearms that can keep you busy and keep you tuned up. So it's not like everything has come to a screeching halt. The brakes are on, but we're not dead in the water yet.
Like I'm having guys all the time sending me pictures of stuff they found.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, and like they say, it's in small quantities, but it's enough to keep them going and shooting. You just got to kind of think outside of the box a little bit, or maybe more inside the box.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Any last questions before we tie it up? So yesterday I smoked some baby back ribs, and I have these P settings on my pit boss, and how they work is like the higher the P setting number, like it goes P1, P2, P3, all the way to P7. Well, the higher you go, the longer it pauses in between feeding the pellets. So, in other words, you get more smoke. So I had it on a P3 setting, and I put those ribs in there and smoked them for 3 hours. And then I finally put a little heat to them, and I smoked them the rest of the day. And they had a terrific. Have you ever smoked a lot of pork, Walter?
Oh yeah, I do pork shoulder and ribs frequently. I fill mine up on my pellet grill. To me, if I'm going to smoke ribs, I go to Costco, and they put out both really good baby backs and St. Louis style, and I'll fill that sucker up.
Yeah.
A bunch of them, and I have a vacuum sealer that I'll cut them up into meal-sized portions and freeze them, vacuum seal them and freeze them. And with that vacuum sealer, they stay good for a year. You pop them out, and they're just like they came off the grill that day. But so yeah, I do it a lot. We do a lot of pulled pork around here. So.
I finally started messing with that P setting, and I noticed that the pork was pinker than normal.
That's the smoke.
Oh yeah, it had a good flavor. Like, yeah. Okay, we have a question. I'm looking for it.
Well, John Childs is on here saying he can't find primers anywhere. He wants to know where can I buy small pistol primers. You can buy them where you can find them, John, but you got to look. You can't walk into one store today and see that there's no pistol primers and say, well, there's none anywhere on the planet. That's not true. They are there.
To give John,
they're in short supply. You just got to go keep looking for them, and
yeah,
not very many, but they are there and they can be had. But you got to work at it.
To give John an idea, back when we did my first live stream, me and Walter, we did a live stream last summer, and I was averaging a brick of primers every 20. I think it was 28 visits to stores. It took me 28 stores every day going to the same stores, and I got a brick, right? Well, now 5 stores a day, 4 months later, I scored on 500 primers.
Yeah.
They're there. You just got to work for it. And I'll just say it this way to you. It's just kind of this is what I tell myself in the mirror. Okay, toughen up, Buttercup. We're all in this together. Right. You want to sit and cry, then you won't get the primers. Yeah. That's why I tell my guys. I drive to the store, I go in, I look at the shelf, and I get out of there because I'm going to the next store. We used to do the Hot Wheels treasure hunts, my wife and me. Man, you'd go to that store, you would go in, and you wouldn't look at other things because you're after a treasure hunt. Well, right. Here's your new treasure right here, right?
Right.
They're there. You just got to find them.
And I went, you guys have heard me talk about the Hogue Pro Shop, which is it's 60-something miles from my house, in the town where my nephew lives, and so I'm up there once a month or so. And 2 months ago, I went in. He didn't have a primer in the place. He didn't have any. He says, I don't know when we're getting any. I went in there 2 weeks ago to buy a set of grips, actually, for one of my new 1911s. And lo and behold, he's got large pistol primers. He didn't have any small primers, but he had large pistol. And he says, "How many you want?" I said, "Well, a couple bricks, because I got quite a few." And he said, "Yeah." I asked him, "Is there a limit?" He said, "Well, we're trying to, keep guys from cleaning us out." I said, "But I can let you have 2 bricks, no problem." So there they were. I bought them, and I'd be willing to bet that 2 days later he didn't have any. But so they are there. You just got to work at it.
Okay. I'm looking. Someone had a question and I can't find it, and I'm sorry. Thank you, Jeremy Strauss. Thank you very much. Ted said, "I met a guy at the range who collected his brass, but just threw it away. He felt like it was littering to leave it, and I got a bunch." That's right. A lot of people, they take it home because they don't want to litter, and they're sitting on it. They could be people you're working with.
At our club range, it's an indoor pistol range, and we're required to police our own brass. But there's a bucket right at your shooting station, and most people put their buckets or their brass into those buckets. First thing I do when I get there is I walk up and down the line and look in those buckets and see if there's anything I need. I really don't need. I think I've got about 3 5-gallon buckets of 9mm brass, so I don't really need any. But if I see a bucket that's got 38 or 45 or other pistol brass in there, then I grab it. I always take a couple 1-gallon freezer bags, and I and it's a legit thing to do. They're not all that many reloaders there that are at our club that are shooting pistol. Most of the reloaders are out on the shotgun range. So you bring home a gallon freezer, that's 800 cases or something, and I do that almost every time I go shooting if I want to. But we don't need a whole lot of brass.
No, you read that one. I found it.
Being picky.
Okay, I found it, but I don't know if I'm reading it right. What do you guys think about reusing the old primers with prime all or matches? Oh no, bad idea. Bad idea.
Yeah,
don't try to make your own primers.
We see not a lot of that, but I'm seeing some of that up, on the internet, and it's not something that I'd want to do. That, from what I know, and I've never tried it, and I'm not gonna try it. It's not worth it to me to mess around with those materials. I'm not gonna tell you don't do it, but I wouldn't do it. I don't think making your own primers is a direction we ought to go.
So John says, "Send me some small pistol primers and I'll like the video."
Oh yeah.
But I don't ever do these. I don't care about likes. And my wife, she laughs. I call myself the Lex Luthor of. I used to be the Lex Luthor of YouTube. Now I'm the Lex Luthor of the internet, because I can always, like you noticed, we got 1,000 members by December. She won the bet, but I figured out how to pull it off. So whenever I get a thumbs down, I add that into the thumbs ups.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot about that. Where's your crow?
I really ate crow.
Yeah, but you made a deal.
I did. I ate crow. We went, okay, so everyone knows.
I didn't see you eat any crow.
So everyone knows. My wife and I had a bet. For months, she was going, "Oh yeah, we'll get 1,000 members onto the forum by the end of the year." I said, "It'll never happen." She goes, "Yes, it will." I go, "It won't happen." This went on for like months. Finally, the last week of the month, I turned around and said, "You want to make a bet? I bet you we will not make 1,000." She goes, "Oh, you're on." We did it.
Oh yeah, it went over.
Yeah, by 50. The first day we went up 50 over. So I had to eat crow. And so she made sure that I ate crow in front of her. What we did is we went to a Chinese restaurant, and they had all these different chicken dishes. And you know what Chinese get their chicken? It's
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
crow.
the tree in the backyard, huh?
So I sat there. I ate my crow.
All right, that counts. I apologize for yelling at you.
That's what it does count. Yeah. So you just got to be patient, Chris. They'll show up, buddy. They'll show up. Just got to be tough. Be tough, okay?
Yep. Yep.
So, Ted, I'm gonna have to get out there and see you at Sportsman's, buddy. I'm just going through those. Dean Levang, is Dean Levang in the house? Oh man, yeah, they came out with that new 5.7 by 28 pistol. I'm gonna have to learn. Okay, Walter.
Yeah.
Dean's asking, is that new? What is it? 5.7 by 28 millimeter. It can't be that hard to load for.
Oh, 5.7.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't load for it. There is a guy at my gun club that loads, and so when I'm going through my brass and sorting it, every once in a while I'll come up with some 5.7 brass and give it to him. And you know, he didn't say. I've asked him just a couple questions about it. Same thing, is it hard to load? This is not really any different than anything else, but you know, the diameter of that case is real tiny. It's a little case. It's like a 17 HMR case or something. It's pretty little. And,
Yeah.
But he loads for it, and I don't see why it would be, you know, any harder technically than anything else. It's a case, got to be sized and deprimed, and stick a new primer in it, and have some load data and projectiles for it. So.
Okay, so I want to thank someone. Just put in a $4.99 donation. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
So,
nice.
Uncle A, I'll tell you this. Since he just gave me a little donation, and I shouldn't say me. It just goes to the channel and it goes to the forum. Why don't I just show you real quick? But here's the thing. I kind of ignore these. I really do service my vehicles, but I don't service my equipment, my Dillon equipment as much. So let me show you this, okay? Hang on.
And while you're looking, and John says, you know, he's looked all over online this past month and no one has primers. You're not going to find them online. What's happening, John, is that they are there. They show up, but the online sales are sold out within minutes. And so your best bet is to look at the local gun shops. If you don't have one in your town other than like an academy or a chain, you know, go over to the next town that's got a small guy, a sole proprietor operation, and talk to him.
Okay, let's take this Dillon. My other two I got kind of bullets in work on. So basically, it's pretty simple. Let me grab something here. I wasn't ready for this, so bear with me. The first thing you want.
I got bad audio coming from you, High Boy. I don't know if it's just me.
Now can you hear me? Now can you hear me?
No.
You can't hear me now?
Oh, now I can.
Okay. So get you a towel. You're going to want it. And all you're going to do just grease the zerk fittings. And once you start seeing grease come out of there, just the smallest amount, you see that grease coming out of there? Watch. See that? Growing. Hang on. Let me get you close up here. Watch right there. See? It's done. Now hang on. Let me go hang my grease gun up. And then what you want to do, wipe the Zerk fittings. And you want to wipe those good because you have kids in the garage, okay? You don't want them touching that. And then this is what I do. And then what I do on your ram, wipe it down with some solvent, okay? Wipe it down with solvent right in the upper position. And then put a little 30 weight on a piece of cloth and just wipe that down. And then wipe that down with 30 weight. Now, here's the kicker. If you use synthetic, you'll get about 3 miles to the gallon better mileage out of these. Does that sound right, Walter? Can you hear me, Walter?
Yeah,
You didn't even laugh at that.
I'm not paying attention to you. You can't reload.
Well, I told them that if they use a synthetic 30 weight, they'll get about 3 miles to the gallon better out of their Dillon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
that's all I
that's
do.
what Dylan recommends you guys is motor oil for that shaft.
Yeah. Yeah, 30 weight, and that's all I do. That's all I do. The other thing I do is every once in a while I pull everything apart and I wipe it down with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and put it together, and that's it. That's all I do.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of banter going on over here in the side chat, and this is a good point. Randall Carr, 43 and flowing. A few other guys are talking about buying primed brass, and that's I've forgotten about bringing that up, and I even had it on my notes here to talk about that. But sometimes you can find primed brass, and and it's expensive to buy pre-primed brass, but it's better than not having any primers at all.
Absolutely.
And then if you're a reloader, you got the brass when you're done. So you got to watch some of those guys. And Everglades Ammo came up, and I have seen primed brass from those guys in the past. So some of the brass suppliers, look around. Don't be afraid to look at those guys and frequently put them on your list of gonna look at these guys every day and see if they have primed brass, because that stuff goes fast too if they get it in.
So, all right, I think that we've covered all our bases. So, I do want to. I'm going to kind of end the live stream with a little message to everybody. And I'll let Walter say his piece after I say this. Can you hear me okay, Walter? Okay. I'm never one to get on and put gloom and doom, and neither is Walter. That's why we don't really get a lot into the world's ending on the forum, and I just got better things to do than that. But and I also don't feel it's fair to paint a gloom and doom picture, because there's some people that aren't really prepared out there. And it's kind of like I can get on here and say, well, I think you ought to be prepared. If you're not, you're going to die. But I'm prepared and I'm fine. So this poor guy who's not prepared, you've left him with no hope. Okay. So just let me tell you guys something. I want you to think about this. You think good and hard. You take some of the men in this world that are trained for battle. Some of the best soldiers, military men we've ever had. And you put them in urban warfare, how many shots will they even get off before they lose their life? Why would I say this? We've got reloaders who are buying out of panic because they want to protect, and so they want all these hundreds of thousands of rounds, right? The last time I checked, if you just have a couple boxes of ammo put back, you're going to be in pretty good shape. So if you've got 2 boxes of ammo for your handgun, a couple boxes for your rifle, and you've got a couple boxes for your shotgun, you're doing really good. Because the bottom line is most men in battle won't even empty their weapon. I'm just saying. So this mentality and this fear that we have in our minds, hey, think about this. The guy that doesn't have anything, nothing. You know, it's like one of them Hollywood movies. Guess who's left standing? The guy that didn't have nothing. So don't let all this like keep you up late at night and stress you out. You know, I'm a Christian. Jesus Christ is my Savior. I am not going to let the politics of the world waste a minute of my night's sleep. Too many people are missing sleep at night and they're up late worrying. You know, they can't get another 1,000 primers because the world's going to end. Who cares? Would the world end already, please? I'm tired of this worry. So my message to you is don't worry. Don't worry about it. You know, our time's going to get hard. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and go, guys, times are going to get real hard for you. Boy, you'd better prepare. Oh, I know. But I know something. If times are going to get hard, it's better to have a positive attitude than be worrying now and have a heart attack when it comes. So what do you have to say about that, Walter?
Yeah, exactly. You know, as we were saying kind of at the beginning of the video, it's not the end of the world, and there's still plenty of stuff for us to do within our shooting sports and hobby. There's too much that you can get your hands on and go do and still stay connected with it for you to worry about the fact that, well, I can't make my ammo today. You know, you're still going to wake up tomorrow and see the green side of the grass, and you know, just do like we've been, you know, trying to tell you. Get out when you can. Get out and drive around. Go to the gun shops, you know, that are within your driving radius, and just keep looking. You'll find the stuff. And it's not the end of the world. This too shall pass. It always has. It's not our first rodeo for us old guys with this kind of thing. That happens, and it happens periodically, and it's going to happen again. So am I worried? No. I learned my lesson long ago to stay stocked up, and I get it that, you know, you guys that are just getting started, and you hadn't had to live through one of these sessions before, and so it never made sense to you to have any more than, you know, in stock on your bench other than what you needed to load tomorrow's stuff with. Well, now you do know, and you know you've learned that lesson, and it's not going to happen to you again. Guess what? The next time this happens, it's going to happen to the beginners again, and they're going to get shorthanded. But you won't be, because you will have learned. And you know, is there a magic bullet that you can go bite? No. You know, that will just automatically. Santa's not bringing you primers tomorrow. Yeah. It's not going to happen. You got to go work for it. And we're here to tell you that yes, you can find them if you're willing to go work for it. And it's kind of sad that we have to get to it that way nowadays, and you can't just, you know, just sit at the computer and order stuff. But it's not the end of the world, you know. No, we've given you plenty of options and stuff you can do to help you ride this nasty wave out.
You know, there's something that I have never forgot, and I think I've mentioned this one time in the almost 8 years I've had my channel now. But somewhere around, it was before my channel started, I didn't know what all these prepper videos was about. So I was on this forum, And there was a prepper thread, and I went into there. And this guy, he had a picture of his backpack, his guns, his food, and he was all ready. He had his place figured out he was going to go. He had his backpack, his this, his that. And in the back of the picture behind his backpack and everything he had is the bicycles of all his kids and his wife. And I read into detail of what his plan was, and his plan had nothing to do with waiting for his family. And I thought, my gosh, is that what our mind can be belittled to over worry? We'll be so worried that
Yeah. Oh yeah.
one of the bicycles had training wheels. And so if you're worried, if you're worried, I'll tell you how to cure it right now. Just go down your street and find someone that's at home. We have a couple that's deaf down the street. If the world goes upside down, I'm going to go see how they are. I've already got that in my mind. I'm going to go see those people. I'm pretty sure we have a person that's blind in our neighborhood. We have elderly people that could just use someone to come by and say hi to them. So if you're feeling stressed, go do something nice for someone that's in a worse position than you. And when you go back home, you'll be really grateful that, you know what, you've got one box of ammo and you've got one gun, because you just helped someone that if someone broke into their house, they got no one. So all this worry of the world, we all have the same amount of hours in a day. We all have the same amount of minutes and seconds. Don't waste a second letting Satan rob you of time that you're going to sit there worrying. Instead, go do something to make the world better and make your day a better outcome for you. When you make the day a better day for someone, your outcome for your day will be better. And that is a day well spent. And that's what this world needs, is people that think about other people and just not themselves. And I believe that. I will die by those words. That's the words I will die by. So here we go. Okay. Any last comments you want to make there, Mr. Walter?
No, we've summed it up, and we've tried to give some folks some ideas on what they can do, and try to leave it on a good note, which you did. So I think we're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Loads of bacon, brother. And
yeah, James got
right
him.
about Noah. He's right about Noah. Yes, he is. That's awesome. Okay.
The original prepper.
Yeah, he was the original prepper, and he didn't worry. He didn't worry. So, okay, man, here we go. Good live stream. I want to thank everybody for stopping in. So this is what we're going to do. I want everyone to type. What are they going to type? And I'll call them off, Walter. What do you want them to put in the comments?
Keep the faith.
I like it. That's what I saw. Spread the faith, and you said keep the faith. Okay, keep the faith, and I'll call you off. Okay. You're welcome, Chris 3. Brother, it's good to see you. I'm ready. I got my big screen. Critter 90. He was a Southern boy.
He's getting loaded up his pets by recipe. Yeah. 2 mosquitoes, male or female. Come on.
Okay, here we go. They're rolling out. We have Lee Scott is out. Where are they at? Ted is out. I'm not going to attempt to say your name, but by the way, Springfield XDM, I love mine, buddy. I saw that comment. 47 Cavalier, keep the faith. Info Brothers is out. Sasquatch Reloading. Everyone, Sasquatch Reloading has his own YouTube channel. He does a pretty good job, too.
Yeah, got a good Dylan series going over there.
What's that?
Ben's got a good Dylan series going on
Oh.
750. On
Oh,
Dylan.
wow.
Yeah.
I'll drop in. Just so everyone knows, if you go to 76highboy.com, if you look through all the sub forums, there's a sub forum that will show you where a bunch of other YouTube channels are. He's one of them. Walter's one of them. If you want to learn how to cast bullets, Andy 79Z28's there. We have MSB 9021. Harold Farmer is out. Randall Carr is out. We got the awesome Reloader 762. If you want to know how to cast bullets, he's on 76highboy.com. Johnny Wad is in the house. He says, I shall not comply. I like him. Mac Brown, Russell, the beautiful Miss Highboy. Uncle A, Andy 79Z28. He also has a YouTube channel. You can find him on 76highboy.com. Grizz3, 43 and Flowing. Power Hunter, Corners and Doors, Old Ironhead, my good old buddy, Tacos and French Fries, Dean Levain, one of my original, one of the first guys I ever talked to on the phone. Loads of Bacon. Oh, the Reloaders Network. Go look him up. Huge reloading resource. Reloaders Network. The Reloaders Network. Chris Field, Hawken BS. Long Live 3 is out. Reb Tyree, Del Pogue, Critter 9A, Keeping the Faith, Matthew UA1, Teddy's Gun Shop, KJ Shooter, Tim Pace, Reb Tyree, Del Pogue, and that's it. All right, very good. We got 104 viewers. It got as high as 122.
And Dale Pogue, you can find me over on 76 Highboy. But the YouTube channel is just Walter Space Bunning.
Yeah. Okay, so now, once again, if you want to find a lot of the reloading channels, you can go to the Reloaders Network. There, he's got a ton. Or go to 76highboy.com and you'll find a subforum with a listing of quite a few YouTube channels. Okay, so there we go. And we got Wonder Wing is out, and Steve Winter is out. Okay, here we go. We are out in 3, 2, 1. God bless.